Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream. Eyejax, Sahbi, Papimento, welcome guys. Our week
was good.
We have a bunch to talk about, guys. Again, like always. So it's January. We had 2 games already. We played NEC. We played Den Bosch yesterday. And now the real deal is starting for us. We have Twente and Feyenoord coming up. And of course, when things doesn't go well throughout the season, it always goes worse, right? We have so many players missing, unavailable at the moment, so we don't know who's going to play against Twente. But before we go and talk about what's coming up and about Twente, I just want to go over those 2 games that we played. With all these players that were missing, just your overall view on the team selection, the players who stood out, your thoughts in general. Let's cover that first. Let me start with Eyejax.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. No, we had a difficult situation with all the people being sick, being absent, So the coach, he had to make some sensible choices because he was almost forced into it. But there was one player that really stood out for me, and I think the boys definitely will agree with me. That was Conceição. It was terrific to see like a natural right winger on that position again, and not like trying to force something with players that are out of position on the right wing. So I'm very happy with the contribution of Conceição. Hopefully he gets a little bit more fit, that he easily can make those 90 minutes, because you saw with the first game that he played that he already was cramping up after 60 minutes. So there's a little bit improvement, but he still needs to go a little bit further to make those 90 minutes easy for him. But hopefully he doesn't get thrown out of the team anymore and can keep playing on that position. So we will see when Bergwijn is back and Berghuis is back, etc., what the formation will be.
Yeah, but talking about Chico, quickly, Eyejax, on the Chico, what you're saying. I want just your opinion quickly, all 3 of you. Do you guys feel like he exceeded your expectation a little bit, or not really, because you haven't seen him get a chance before?
Yeah, of course he exceeded your expectations because he played quite well. But I think we all knew that he had it in him, and we all already in the first half of the season were asking for give Conceição more minutes, try him on the right wing position. So we also had already faith in him, but that he can bring this level already, of course, that's a big plus for the team. And furthermore, it was nice to see that finally some more debut players again from the youth academy, Hato, Arts, and stuff. That was nice to see. So that about covered it up. And I must say also for the furthermore, really he looked like calm also on the ball. He wasn't tested much, but it was nice to see what he brought already to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Sahbi, your view? Anything to add to what Ajax said?
No, he basically said it all. Conceição is the brightest part of recent weeks. A lot of debuts against NEC. It was more the attack which needed some fine tuning. Midfield which needed fine tuning. I mean, the backline was as it always was, except Wrench switching positions and Vandal not playing. So that was a bit that's maybe that only point. Vandal, a lot of fans expected way more of him coming from AZ, and everybody thought, well, what is Schroeder talking about? He needs to do more because he didn't get a starting position against NEC, and people found it strange. But when we saw the game against Den Bosch, it all made sense, and he's just not in form, I guess. I don't know whether it's the max that he can deliver. I don't think so. I think it's a form. Maybe he needs to get used to playing style, but it's unclear. But at this moment, he just doesn't deserve the starting position.
All right, Papimento, I will give the floor to you as well.
Yeah, man, coming back to Chico, I mean, look, I didn't think his development was going to go that fast, right? So I saw him at young Ajax. But when he came at the Ajax 1 squad, he was the only one driving towards the defender, trying to get into one-to-one situations. Of course, he has to develop his final third pass or shot maybe sooner for himself. But I also saw refinement in his passing, like his ball to Tadic for the goal against NSA, for instance. That was perfectly laid on his foot, and Tadic just had to tap it in, actually. And that's why I love the goal. It was two great passes before Klaassen finished it.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of technique, things we want as an Ajax player. I mean, that's a Ajax type we desire and want.
Yeah.
And I think just looking at him, I mean, he was the best transfer for us this season so far.
By far.
The summer signings. And, 5 million, a lot of potential. And he will leave for big bucks, but I hope we can keep him for a couple of years and enjoy him at the arena for a while.
And by the way, from my side, he didn't exceed my expectation. I mean, I already saw him when he played at Porto. Yeah, he was like the steady substitute in any game almost. I knew what he was capable of. Also in the Champions League, I saw him a couple of times playing. So, I mean, and now he's playing at the eredivisie. The level is comparable with the Portuguese league, which means he could easily cope. That's why I couldn't understand why he didn't get any minutes, even though Tadic wasn't working at the right wing. Bergwijn wasn't working at the right wing. There were no other players. Ocampos didn't play at the right wing. So it was a question mark for me why he didn't play. And luckily, there is no way Schreuder can now deviate from him playing at the right wing at this moment.
Sure of that, bro? You sure?
So Bergwijn comes back, Sahbi? Bergwijn comes back, he's on the bench. That's up to you.
Yeah. Well, Saturday for sure. I mean, Schreuder will be crucified if he would play Bergwijn Saturday.
I can see him perfectly doing this sort of, like, you know what? Let's try Tadic on the right wing again and Bergwijn on the left wing position and Chico back.
If that happens, no, I can't imagine that.
It's like Sahbi said. I can see that happening as well.
Yeah,
no, I don't think so.
Sahbi also saying, but I have the feeling that if Bergwijn and Berghuis are fit, Chico will be benched.
Exactly.
I also think maybe we haven't thought about that either. He's not used to playing or starting with the first team, and now he has played 2 games in a row. So if any other player would be fit, do you guys think he will be starter again at Twente, 3 games in 1 week? Wouldn't that be too much?
I think
it's the best option we have, man.
Yeah, and not only that, the players that could play in that position or like need to substitute for him, they aren't fully fit yet also. Maybe if they get back to the team from a flu or from being sick, 90 minutes is maybe a stretch, because it's not happening. So either he plays and he gets substituted for them, or he chooses for somebody else and he gets in like in the 60th minute. Yeah. But if I can touch upon one more thing, Juan, considering Chico, the thing I like most about him is like he has that bravura. He doesn't care. He just goes for the direct opponent and he tries. And even if he fails, he tries again afterwards, Yeah, and absolutely. This is something that I love to see because we were known for that kind of bravura within our youth academy, the Ajax style. Doesn't matter how old they are. They just try to deliver and they are not afraid, And this is something that we nowadays see less and less because players in the football nowadays are molded more and more and more into certain types of players. And for him to just go at it time after time, even if it's a success or a failure, this says something about his mentality and about his personality. And this is what we like to see in Ajax, We do not demand that the player always delivers every time that he tries it, but just go for it. This is what we like to see, and this is something he has.
Absolutely. Well, our regular viewer, of course, Sima, Chico is better than Anthony. Maybe a bit too quick to say that, but actually a very good question from Rita, which I wanted to go to. Nice bridge as well. Who will play in defense? So we talked about Chico, right? A lot, but also one of the things, because of the absentees, the players that are not available, we saw also a switch, Wrench playing center back, for instance. What are you guys' thoughts on that particular choice of Schreuder, Sahbi?
Oh, it was a good choice. He played very decent as a center back. Also, one of the better players in the build-up from all those defenders that we have in possession, together with Timber. So yeah, he did well. I think it was a great move of Schreuder, to be honest. I hate to say it, but it is.
You hate to say it. Why do you
Yeah.
hate to say it?
No, because I'm not
Because
a
it's
fan of
Schreuder.
Schreuder.
Because of Schreuder. All right.
but
What about- yeah, Papimento, you can talk about
yeah,
it.
no, I just wanted to say,
Right.
there are things that I like about Wrench, things I not really like about Wrench on the central position. So I like his passing. I like that he's still-footed. I like that he accelerates the passing, so he doesn't first get a touch in and then waits and then checks. And no, he immediately sees the free man, and the ball keeps rolling from his feet. So that I liked. I just think he's for a bigger match, like let's say a PSV or a Feyenoord. I don't think it will work, and maybe it's his physique. Maybe he's not good in the air. I'm not sure yet, but I think the opponents can get very dangerous when he's in central position, and in set pieces areas, against us. So that's why I think it wouldn't be the best option. But for now, against the slightly weaker teams, I think that would, yeah, it's working fine.
It's working, yeah. But okay, so let me say, yesterday I was watching the game in the Bosch, and after 20 minutes, I was looking at our back line, and I was like, I feel sorry for Wrench. Well, I had two thoughts. Let me be clear. First of all, I thought between the four that we have on the back line, Wrench is Maldini compared to the other three. That's the first thing I thought. The second thing I thought was we have to give him props, honestly. We have to give Wrench a little bit props because, in my opinion, he's being switched so much throughout the season, not only this season, but previously. Then he plays as a right back, then he plays center, then he plays left back. Ten Hag even tried him once, I think, as a defensive midfielder. But to come in with the players around him, like yesterday, Bassi, looking very suspect lately. Our wingbacks, Jorge Sanchez, Wijndal yesterday was horrible, but maybe because of other reasons, we don't know. So altogether, maybe we should give him more compliments, what Wrench has been doing. Coming
No,
in,
actually,
taking over.
no, he's been doing great, and I'm really happy with Wrench. He's still a young player. He plays, for me. He looks more comfortable in the central area than on the wingback position. Just my honest opinion on what I'm seeing from him. So I didn't expect him to catch that position with such ease.
Yeah,
and he did that. Yeah, definitely. But still, it was NSA. It was Den Bosch. Those are not the heaviest games. And the goal against NSA, I'm not sure we should blame him, but it was a very easy goal, conceding that set piece.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of Pasveer not coming off his line and Alvarez not covering the player that run towards the ball. So I'm not sure if it was fully Wrench's fault, but this is how I saw it. But Juan, I think we're not being too harsh because, like Papi said, I think it makes sense. Can you see, like, for example, a Wrench covering Luc de Jong against that kind of opponents? I think he physically is not strong enough to be a central defender. It would be nice if you had a hybrid version of like Bassi with his strength, height, speed, and maybe that he can head the ball in combination with the comfortable, that he's comfortable on the ball like Wrench, that he can dribble in the midfield, that he can pass the ball. But both of them have problems if you play them in the central defense. So I have to agree with Papi on this, and I think we're not being too harsh, but just realistic about what he can and cannot do.
Yeah. Talking about the back line, we have a question from Rovalo Mayan. Here we go. Do you guys see any potential in Jorge Sanchez? I think he's better than Wrench at the right back position. What do you guys think?
No, I'm not a fan.
No. The thing is, for Ajax fans, you have to be good on the ball first, and then the rest will come, right? So, look, it's no secret that Ajax always transformed midfielders into a wingback. It's because we expect a certain level of passing, certain level of technique, and that's what Jorge Sanchez is not showing whatsoever at the moment. So that's why a lot of Ajax fans would choose Rens over Sanchez.
Yeah, Mr. Salt, Roy Nimbus, doesn't agree. No future at Ajax, way under par, worse than Christensen. Yeah, so.
But we also have to be careful, guys. He's not been at our club for that long. He needs to adjust coming from another competition outside of Europe, trying to cope with a new style of football, a new country. Let's give him a little bit more time. But I have to agree with the analysis. What he has shown so far isn't good enough for Ajax 1. But let's not write him off at all, just after 6 months. Maybe.
Let's be honest.
I want to respond to that.
Yeah, just a minute. Let me just say one thing. Just throwing it out there, you guys can react to it. But if you look at the NEC game, not the toughest opponent we played against. Den Bosch yesterday, not the toughest opponent we played against. And if you look the contribution of our wingbacks, we saw Jorge Sanchez twice. We saw Wijndal yesterday. We saw Bessie on the left back position. Aren't we a little bit handicapped with those two players on the sides? Honestly, guys.
Definitely, but be honest also, Juan. From those three, I think Sanchez against Den Bosch was the not the worst of those three. Bessie and Wijndal were even more poor than Sanchez was. So that says a lot, If they are underperforming under his level, maybe we should cut him some slack also, because he was definitely not amongst the two worst of those four.
Juan, look, you can have one Sanchez in your team, but you cannot have Sanchez, Edson, Bassi, and those type of players all together in one line, because that's too little of technique and football skill to really do the build-up play we want. So for me, if you choose Sanchez, he can do the defensive work. He has some speed. He can do the work things. He has the work rate for it. But you cannot have three of the similar type of level technique in the back line. That's not the Ajax way. That's something an Ajax fan would never accept as well.
Furthermore, Juan,
we are weak.
I'm also thinking we're a little bit too harsh on Wijndal at the moment. He played poor yesterday. Let me be honest about that. So I'm not disagreeing with people saying he was terrible, because he was. But I heard there were some personal circumstances. I hope it's nothing too bad, because they could not touch upon it, but maybe something in the family or stuff. The coach, who time after time keeps saying he's not good enough yet, he's not at the level that he should be, that does something with your confidence. Been injured a lot this season, played pretty decently his first 5 games or 6 games. I'm thinking still he is our future left back. So just give the guy some time to cope. And other players made way more mistakes in way more matches than he did only yesterday. And yesterday he was terrible. But for me, I still have hope that he will be our future left back. But it has to be a transition. So,
but Ajax, how long do you give a Wijndal?
Exactly.
How long do you give a Wijndal? I mean, this guy was the captain of AZ. He hasn't been in the eredivisie just 1 year.
Indeed.
He has been in the eredivisie for several years. We bought him because he would add a surplus of quality on that side, but we haven't seen it yet. So how long do you want to wait for it?
I'm sorry.
As a transition, he would have it the least hard of all the transfers we had.
Yeah, but this is also putting him a label on him. He played one match very terrible, but other matches he played within the squad, he did properly.
In the beginning of the season, he was better.
Defensively, he did show a lot of
few times, but those first 6 matches, it wasn't there. He played decently. And also, Sahbi, be honest on this. Do you think Bessie is better on that left back position than Wijndal is? Like how do you say it? Like quality-wise for the future, do you see
defensively? Yes.
In Bessie as a left back than Wijndal?
Now, as Patty said, defensively.
Attacking, no.
But a left back at Ajax, yes, you have to defend, but you also have to play combination football with the winger, give a cross and stuff. Have you seen Bessie's passing ability?
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like Bessie shows more energy when he's playing on the left back than
my money is for the long term is on Wijndal. I still have faith in him to come through. Yeah. I'm not seeing Bessie as our future left back. Just not seeing it.
No, but I mean, nobody sees Bessie at the moment as a left back or center back.
So
I mean,
who else then? Who else on that left back position then?
no, but what I mean is they're both terrible at this moment.
I think it's too easy to say after one game Wijndal's terrible. He
It's
was
not-
terrible yesterday, but everybody plays
It's not only
football.
one game. It's not only one game, but
But Sahbi,
You know, I thought when we were going for Wijndal at the beginning.
the whole team is playing badly. We're not singling him out as the one that's not good enough. But yes, he made some mistakes in another game, maybe defensively. But he did some good stuff also. So it's too easy to now say he's not good enough.
let's
But
just say
he came in as a veteran, man. He came in as somebody that's experienced in the
not only
Eredivisie,
veteran,
somebody that
he's Dutch international. He was a Dutch
Exactly.
international. So you can
it's
demand
not just a
more
regular
from
player
him.
that you're getting in, even though
You
he
should
came
not.
in
You
for only 10.
should demand
So
more from him.
if you play well at another team, if it's in the same league but a different style, and
Well,
you're already an established player in a national squad, then
There's not a lot of
there
difference.
are
Not
other
a
rules.
lot of difference.
There are other rules for you. Then you have to cope immediately.
Ajax, look, let me intervene a little bit here. I think also part of this discussion, and it's very interesting discussion, but taking it away from Wijndal a little bit, when we sign players, and we put 10 million, okay, just forget now the price a little bit. But if we sign somebody from the Eredivisie, right, who's a captain at AZ, who is a Dutch international, I mean, you hope that he can straight away, come in and go, with the team.
Knows
Now,
the league
yeah, for Bessie, we paid like twice
more.
the amount. But sometimes you can say, Bessie has to learn the Ajax way.
Yeah, but
You cannot say that about Wijndal, right?
The-
Honestly.
AZ and Ajax do not play exactly the similar way.
Yeah, but
No,
there's
but
not a
the
lot of
thing
difference.
is-
They play 4-3-3
Can I just say
with
something?
wingers. It's not, and he's
The best way to
Sure.
explain it for me is this. I thought Wijndal would come in and compete with Blind. But right now, Wijndal is competing with Bassi. That's a huge difference in level.
Yeah,
Look, you said AZ doesn't play the same as Ajax. I agree, but the Rangers doesn't play at all the same as Ajax.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
you can
a
throw
transition.
you
That's
can
what I'm
throw-
trying to say.
You can throw in arguments all you want in your favor. Yes, he was captain at AZ. Yes, his transition should be maybe easier because he talks Dutch also, But you can also give arguments for other players. Bessie was a lot of money, 25 million or stuff. He played in the Europa League final. He has also a lot of experience on the highest level in that tournament. But hey, he's not coping anywhere. Not at the central
Yeah.
back.
AZ played Europe as well. It's the same. AZ played Europe as well. That's no
We're just
argument.
explaining why the difference.
Yeah.
Apart from the price tag. I said before, taking the price tag away, if you look at the difference,
Yeah.
if you come from another country and you come to the Netherlands and you play with Ajax, that's a bigger, coping mechanism for a player than from AZ to Ajax.
And I'm not supporting Bessie.
Let me state it differently for you guys. From all the signings that got into Ajax last season, this season, all the new players that got in, Wijndal is not at the top. That is disappointing for me. Bergwijn
Yeah,
disappoints me more.
Okay.
Bessie disappoints me more. He's not in my top players that are disappointing. So we should give him some slack.
All right.
No.
Let's move on this conversation. A bit heated, but it's fine. That's why we're talking about it, Very interesting, actually. I saw a couple of comments. Papimento, can I bring them up? Is that okay for you?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Let me see. I saw one from Roy again, Mr. Salt. This one, insinuating something here. A lot of players are sick. A lot of Ajax flu victims is Blind left. And also this one from Rick. Have the players really they have the flu, or is it more? What do
We
you
had
guys
this
think
discussion,
about it?
right?
Because honestly, this was insinuated about Kudus by Snyder, on the national TV, but also I was listening to the Puntleash podcast, and also it was insinuation that maybe Kudus saw that he's not going to play the last weekend, and he also called in sick. So these are serious, like allegations,
Yeah.
insinuations. But what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, there are allegations. There are allegations. So
Yeah,
I think we have
exactly.
to be careful with saying that he did it on purpose or that there is something
Yeah.
else going on, because the whole squad is suffering from flu at the moment.
Whole country.
So it's very likely that he maybe caught the flu also. So I think we have to stay away from judging it and saying there's something else the matter, because I think he probably just has the flu.
It makes me question Schreuder even more, by the way, putting Kudus on the bench. But okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Look, there are a lot of questions coming in. Let me throw one up, if that's okay, Papimento, which is also one of the players that got a chance because of the, all the players not being available yesterday. Also, a lot of discussion about this gym on Twitter, on social media. Your impression? Let me give it to Sahbi first. We had the game talk yesterday. You weren't too positive. Some people were like, "What? What are you saying?"
I said he was okay. He didn't impress me a lot because of the reasons also mentioned yesterday. He had so much time and space against this Den Bosch. Den Bosch was parking the bus in the final third, so he had most of the time to distribute the ball wherever he wanted. But in transition or when Den Bosch had the ball, he was easily out-dribbled by his direct opponent. His positioning was not always that good. So, in my view, as an Ajax player, so I judge him as an Ajax player and not per se as a player who just became a starter. He was not that great. And physically, of course, we all agree upon he needs to do a little bit more. He needs to be stronger. But we need to give him some time. I'm not saying he's not Ajax material. I'm just saying that he didn't do that great yesterday. That's it.
Okay. Papimento, more like Papimentos. You can take this one as well. What do you think of his gym?
Yeah, great on the ball. I like his technique. We were talking about it, how his technique is really up to par, and that's really the Ajax training style, right? So that's the kind of style we like. But I must say, there's a lot of things that I question with his gym, his physicality, his power on the midfield. Could he even play midfield going forward? Is he a midfielder, or should we think about other positions for him because he doesn't have the physique? I think off the ball, it becomes a problem with him, because on the ball you see the added value, but off the ball, you lose a lot, and he makes a lot of fouls and stuff.
Yeah, but do you think because he's 19 years old, we should be a bit careful and give him a little bit more time, to develop and become?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I agree. Look, Juan, but we talked about this, right? He has been with Young Ajax for a while now. It's not his first season with Young Ajax, and there was this period last season, I think, where he was playing phenomenal, and I thought, let's hope he stays in this level and he can continue. But when I look at Young Ajax now, he's not the best man on the pitch. Let me say it like that. And he should be by now for Young Ajax standards. That's why I'm still hesitating.
Yeah. And by the way, a lot of fans are comparing him with the situation of Mazraoui. Was physically not strong, also played in midfield. So a lot of fans think maybe he could do better at the right wing position, or not right wing, right back position, because of his technique. Mazraoui wasn't that great as well in his defending, but his build-up on the right side was magnificent. And as the time went by, he did better and better in his defending.
So if we draw that comparison, right? Do you see him, as Papimento said, maybe going into another position, maybe becoming a wingback, or is that not how you envision Fitzjim?
It can be definitely a possibility. I don't see it something as negative.
No, I'm not saying it's negative, but do you?
No, but I see it as I can see him playing as a right wingback indeed.
All right. Look, coming back to the Wendell discussion, I see a couple of people also giving their opinion on this. Let me see. Your Ajax, man, people agreeing with you. Wendell played 10 matches, give him some time. And with a coach like this, it's difficult to play matches in a row, which is a good point, actually, because also in the first half of the season, Schreuder has been switching and shifting so many players. That's true. It's a good point. I
hope he watched the game yesterday. Then he can make comments like that. But if he didn't
watch
the game yesterday,
seriousness. I'm just saying we should be cautious. If you hear the
you're very cautious, bro.
for example, if you hear the coach saying there's something in his personal environment that is happening, I cannot touch upon it. What if there's something really bad going on with a family member and you hear that prior to the match and you're playing? Where would you be with your mind? I'm just saying be cautious. It was one bad game by him. He had a lot of injuries in those 6 months. He played also a few good matches. He's still in transitional, transitional from Asset to Ajax. The whole team is not gelling in. Just give him some time. It's not all that bad yet.
No, it's okay. But Schroeder also said he needs to do more. He doesn't deserve his starting position. That's what he said as well.
Yeah,
besides the other
Schroeder,
part,
Schroeder needs to have a hard look in the mirror and judge his own. What he's doing at Ajax and what he can do better, because he's criticizing the player, but not all peaches from his side. Also, let him focus.
You would think Ajax has Wijndal stocks or something.
Oh, no.
Relax, bro. It's all good.
Yeah.
want to make some profit.
Yeah. All right. Look, we touched upon the players. You know what we've seen 2 games. Let's see what happens in the upcoming games, which are very important, Twente and Feyenoord. Quickly on the transfer window, guys. There was an article for Freek Jansen, Football International, that basically we only are going for a center back, probably also because of the Kaplan situation, being injured for the remainder of the season, and heavy links with the Argentinian player of Olympique Marseille, Balerdi. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
So yesterday after the game, they had the game against Troy. I don't know if you say it like this, but they had the game yesterday. And after the game, he was interviewed and he said that he spoke with his agent and they basically want to stay at Olympique Marseille. And then today there was a rumor, not the most reliable source, but that Ajax still, wants to push for it. And maybe 20 million, big contract. So, yeah, I don't know. Are you guys happy with that news? Not happy?
You know what bothers me, Juan?
Tell me.
I saw in the media that Ajax would be attending that match to watch him play.
Yeah.
We have a scouting system at Ajax. So you have to have a shadow list for certain positions with players you already scouted that that could be like an asset to the team. If I see in the media that they are going to watch him, they are interested, but they're going to watch him, it bothers me. What happened with all the other names that were mentioned before the season alongside Bessie? Correct me if I'm wrong, Sahbi, his name is Medina, right? From France?
Yeah.
He was probably thoroughly scouted already by Ajax. I cannot believe he will be much more expensive than this guy. What happens with those targets that you already scouted? Because this, for me, sounds like a panic buy.
No, the next target would be Stefan de Vrij, right? That was the number 2 on the list.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Guys, quickly, I mean, we moved past this conversation, but we cannot not laugh because of this, right? Seb Vroom being very funny, actually. Right. But look, the thing, coming back, right? The scouting system, these kind of things. We know we need a center back, right? How about also the planning? Because as we know, Daley Blind, end of December, was leaving, basically. It was already agreed. Ajax said you can leave. Kaplan got injured around that time as well. We're now almost mid-January with big games coming up, and we still don't have anyone. It seems to me that he's not part of the scouting. That's one, perhaps. And second of all, Ajax is really panicking a little bit to get someone in again, like the summer. Or are you guys
don't bring anyone?
Papimento, go ahead.
No, I said in that case, just don't bring anyone because I don't trust their judgment anymore. And if this is the way a professional club is behaving, I'm getting really worried and scared actually for our club because, to be honest, man, we were at a high for a couple of seasons. And then how you see the new transfer, how they change the whole dynamic of what level we are getting at the moment, it's scary. And then they want to do another panic buy. That worries me even more. So I'm like, don't do the buy. Just wait. If you're not sure, why force it?
Yeah.
Would you guys be more comfortable not getting anyone actually this January if it's not 100% what you want, and just continue with the youth players that we have, maybe?
Or get a short-term loan in just for the remainder of 6 months?
Yeah.
Not
All right.
with high class or anything. Somebody to cover that has like decent stats, that can then just fill in those 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Guys, the Twente game coming up. We dropped a poll today on Twitter. Not everybody was happy with that poll, to be honest, because basically what we said is looking at the unavailability of the players, many players sick, not feeling well, injuries, etc. And we're going into a very big game, basically. If I'm not mistaken, Twente actually won against PSV. Am I correct? They won against PSV. They drew against AZ, and they lost to Feyenoord. But I remember that game. They got a red card right in the first half, so they played the second half with 10 against Feyenoord. That's a little bit different. But how do you guys see our chances going to the Twente game? Because basically we said in the Twitter poll, looking at everything concerned, looking at our situation, would you guys take a point? And 80% basically said no. And some people even took the courage to tell us that, what kind of stupid question is that? So how do you guys see it? Let me give it to Sahbi first.
Yeah, as I mentioned as well in the tweet, I should always go for 3 points. You don't settle for 1 point in advance. So it's definitely a no-go for me. Hence, nonetheless, I'm not sure we're gonna win. Of course, I mean my gut feeling and reality-wise, I say we will get a draw, only because of our home advantage. But I mean, we're not a team yet, and we have a lot of absence. And Twente is in form. They have a gelling team. They are so well played with each other. They're doing good. So and we always have difficulties with Twente in general.
Yeah.
So,
but guys, realistically, right? I mean, we're Ajax. I know I heard these comments as well. We're Ajax. We're playing home game. We should always win. I understand that. But let's be realistic. I mean, the way I see it, you guys can argue with me, of course. The way I'm looking at it, we haven't had a good match in weeks, and now we also have some key players missing. And I don't know what kind of atmosphere the arena would be. I mean, it's been a long time, and a lot of fans are not that happy. Although I have to say, yesterday, the Ajax fans in Den Bosch were amazing, to be very honest. The way they supported their team. So look, all these things combined, but you're playing at home. There are a lot of Ajax fans, etc., etc. If things don't go our way, if we don't get that freshness, energy that Schreuder wants,
I don't see it.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing it.
Guys.
That's why I said I'm realistic. I see us drawing there or drawing at home because I'm realistic. We're just not performing. We're underperforming under Schreuder. And as long as Van der Sar keeps sleeping, as long as Van der Sar keeps extending his holidays, for example, nothing will happen. And we will remain with Schreuder. And I'm not even bothered if we get a draw, to be honest.
Yeah.
I am. I will be.
No,
ahead,
I mean, it's.
But in all seriousness, Juan, as an Ajax fan, we always should demand 3 points. So
that's what I said.
But hold on.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing else we should expect or demand. But if you're asking my honest opinion, with this coach, how things are going, the results we've been getting, we dropped 4 times in a row in the eredivisie. We dropped points now. And that's like a way bad record, It's since decades ago that we did that last time. So with Twente being in form, playing well, I'm not seeing us winning that game. So I expect 3 points always, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get a loss this weekend, even though we're playing at home, because we're not clicking. The coach is still the coach at our team. We're getting players back from flu that probably aren't match fit yet, I'm not seeing the Ajax that I want to see. So I always hope for 3 points, and I'm just hoping that they will scrape it through, but I'm not having the confidence at the moment. I'm just not having it.
Yeah, people agreeing with you. Papimento, you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, look, I see it as whoever is back, our individual quality in certain players can win it for us. So if we keep it tight in the back and win it with 1-0, it's a win. But you do need a surplus in quality. So I hope, or Broby or Bergwijn or Kudus will be back to give us a little bit of edge in technical quality. So we can really hurt them. And I'm not saying we're going to play great. I don't say we're going to play the Ajax way, but there's definitely a chance we can win it.
What do you mean we're not going to play the Ajax way? What do you mean by that?
The beautiful champagne football with the build up from the back and the crosses and the thing we're used to with triangles everywhere on the pitch. And yeah, we're not seeing that under Schreuder, but I still think with individual quality and depending on who's back, we might just nick it, based on quality.
In my book, and that is what Twente has at the moment, a good gelling team together, maybe with less individual quality, tops a team that's not clicking with a few individual quality within the team. They are a better team combined at the moment. They play better football together. They understand each other. This is something we all are missing in our squad at the moment. So yes, hopefully we can hold our own and one of our individual quality stars can scrape it through for us. But in my book, usually a good gelling team is always better than a team that's not clicking with highly skilled individuals.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And I like their coach as well. I mean, I really like the coach.
Ron Jans.
Better than our coach.
We have a question from Clive Attard. What about Alvarez at CB and play Grealish at the 6th position? I don't know if he is referring to the upcoming game or maybe to the previous discussion we had, but Alvarez is actually called sick yesterday. And Grealish is injured, as far as I know, so I don't think he'll be available. But yeah, the thing with Grealish, maybe you guys want to talk about that as well quickly. We haven't seen him. We don't know. We don't know how he is.
I would switch it around, though. I would put Alvarez as a CDM and maybe Grealish in the back because I heard Grealish has the better passing. So I like more build-up from the back, so maybe you could do that. But I wouldn't put Edson in the back line.
And he played in the past. In central defense as well. So
I think it's something we definitely can try. I was just thinking about it before the comment. I was like, can we not play like Alvarez or Grealish in that position if they are fit? If French is being played there, why not try it out how they will cope? Because defensively, they can hold their own. They're taller. They both can head the ball quite comfortably. Alvarez is one of our better, players that can head the ball. So it should not even be a bad idea to try that out. Why not?
Yeah. Look, I want to ask you guys one thing, right? It's hypothetical a little bit, of course, but if there's one player that's now missing, that hasn't played yesterday, is there one player that you would want back? Who would that be for the Twente game? You can choose one player only. Who would that be? Sahbi, you can go first.
Broby.
I said, Sahbi, you can go first. What
people don't listen. People don't listen.
I got excited, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Sahbi, who did you say? Sorry, bro.
I would say Broby.
Broby? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Probably he has
Kudus.
Kudus? Why Kudus, Papimento?
I just think he has a high ceiling, and with his dribbling, he can force something and open gaps for us on the pitch. So
you would
him and Chico would work.
You would choose him over Berghuis and Bergwijn.
Yeah.
And Timber, even. Nobody said Timber.
Oh, Timber, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a tough one. I didn't even consider Timber.
Timber would be my pick.
Yeah. Sorry, but Timber.
No, I stick with Kudus.
Both Timber and Broby weren't actually in my pool of players to choose from because I was just thinking, Broby will be back either way,
I was saying hypothetical, right?
If all those are absent, then maybe Timber first because we're lacking in the central defense. But after that, Broby, I'm not even considering because he's just fit since the last game. He will be back. But Berghuis is something we miss at the midfield. And he's been our best player, I think, in the first half of the season. So I'd rather have players back that are in form and can deliver than like a Bergwijn that just is in a form crisis.
Yeah.
So if I look at the striker position, we played with Luka yesterday. I would rather have Kudus back because he's very efficient in front of goal. So that's
okay. So you want him back as a striker?
We have to. We have classes at 10, and we don't have other options. So if Kudus is back, I would put him there. If Broby is injured, of course.
So you put Kudus before Broby in the striker position?
You're saying
Look, I'm considering Broby still injured. So if
Yeah,
he's
but the
still
same
injured,
applies for the
Kudus
other
back.
ones.
Papimento.
Yeah,
But
so,
you're saying you want Kudus back, and then you're mentioning Klaassen, but at the same time you're mentioning Broby. So would you consider playing Kudus as a striker?
Yeah, because Broby was also injured, right, or not available last time. So I'm
So
not
that's
sure
why
he's
you
going to
want
be
Kudus
available.
because you have an extra striker option, basically. Okay,
Yeah.
that's clear. Yeah, Sima would like to have Liedmanen. We all do, basically, to be honest. And Clive, going back to Clive's previous question, he's confirming, ongoing games. Yeah, I think the most important thing for Grealish is to get fit, right? And then we can see where he plays, where he fits. Yeah, no, it's true. I'm not sure.
I agree. Okay, same applies for Kaplan. The same for Kaplan.
Even when he was fit, he was not getting the chances. So we never seen him being tried like that.
Which is still ridiculous, Bas Schreuder, but that's another story.
Okay, guys, I have.
Weren't there rumors that he's actually linked to Valencia, that they are interested in him? So
Correct.
They declined.
He played well in Germany, so it's just the coach and the coaching staff to blame that he didn't get his minutes in the first half of the season. It isn't that he's now a poor player all of a sudden, So
yeah. That's true. So my question to the Twente game, my last question, and I want also the people to give their own opinions, predictions, guys, for the upcoming game. So it's difficult. We don't know which place will be available, but from now, sitting from here, what is your best guess? Roy, Mr. Salt, is not that optimistic, but we know that about him, so that's fine.
Nothing else is acceptable. That's not so salty. I feel it.
Who want to answer, Juan?
What are your predictions for the Twente game? Ajax Twente, what will it be? What's the scoreline it's going to be?
I'm not feeling it that we get the win, but I'm never, ever guessing against my own team. So I'm not going to say we're going to get a loss because that's not just how I do, So I'm saying 2-1 for Ajax.
2-1 Ajax. Papimento?
I'm saying 3-1 Ajax with a red card for Twente somewhere. Hoping for it.
That's very specific. Okay. Sahbi?
No, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Hoping I'm wrong, but I'm going for a draw.
How many yellow cards have we?
How many? On goal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to give my prediction. I don't.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
No. Finish it off, bro. You got to give it.
I honestly think it's going to be a draw. So 1-1. That will be my prediction. I hope we win. Of course. I hope we win. Guys, there is a very interesting question that I also wanted to touch upon because it's interesting. It's a little bit off topic, but it's about the BeNeLiga. Somebody, let me see. Papimento, maybe you can check as well if you can find that comment. It was given. Yeah, can you bring it up if you can? So basically, if I'm not mistaken, the question was, why are we guys against the BeNeLiga? Yeah, here we go. Men like Lee. Hey, I was always wondering, why are you guys against the BeNeLiga when we all know the financial benefits Ajax will gain and will compete for the Champions League titles again? Who wants to take this? Who wants to give his opinion on this? We spoke about this a year ago, maybe longer ago on the channel, when this was a hot topic again, because every other year it comes back, So your thoughts?
I think my last opinion on this was, why not start with a cup, something between Belgium and Holland, and see how that works, and then progress from there. But just to change both leagues on a whim without having proved anything yet, if there's interest from both supporter camps, it's so untested. I still don't know what we would gain from it in terms of how much budget will it include, how much more money will the competitions gain by doing a BeNeLiga. So there's a lot of question marks as well in the BeNeLiga for me.
Yeah. All right. What's your opinion on this? I want your opinion on the BeNeLiga. How do you? It's been a recurring subject. Do you agree, Papimento, or do you have a different opinion on this?
No, I haven't really thought about it, but when I hear Papi saying this, I fully agree with him. It's all eventually about the money. On the other hand, you play against big teams. I mean, Genk, Gent, Brugge, Anderlecht. Those are all quite big teams in Belgium. So it would be good for the viewers maybe as well. But I don't have that feeling. Like it reminds you of the Super League that they all wanted to start with the big teams. I don't have that vibe yet with the BeNeLiga. I don't know why.
Okay, Ajax, your view?
You know what it is, Juan? We have a certain history within our country, the eredivisie, you know, for decades. And it's hard to just trade that in and just say goodbye to this for your own benefit. But if we are going to do that, I would rather go for the Superliga and then screw everybody over and just as Ajax participate, because that is one of the advantages that are being said, you know, it's more money, it's better for the team, maybe also for playing the Champions League and stuff, you can attract higher quality players. But if you're going to screw over your league, you can just as easy go for a Super League and just participate there, you know, instead of a BeNeLiga. But yeah, I'm not really for it because you have your own history and traditions within your country. And just throwing that away is also screwing over more than half of the league. And it's not good for Dutch football as a whole, I think. But for Ajax, it would be maybe better financially and you can attract higher quality players. But should that be the number one argument to do it? Shouldn't you think also about the broader thing, you know, about your own country with all the teams included in your country within the eredivisie, with your history, your heritage and stuff? It's difficult, man. But if you ever decide to do something outside of the eredivisie, then go for a Superliga instead of a BeNeLiga. Why settle for a BeNeLiga?
Because the BeNeLiga is different.
How about BeNeLiga?
You can get out of the BeNeLiga if you do a bad job, and you can get into the BeNeLiga if you're doing a good job. In the Super League, those are the teams. That's it.
Yeah, but
nobody's allowed in, nobody's allowed out. They decided these are the super teams, and that's it.
Poppy, if we're talking about what's best for Ajax, if you're going to screw your league over and go for another league, why not just go with the elite team?
Who's saying you're screwing your league over? Who's saying that? That's an assumption.
Go for BeNeLiga, you're screwing.
If that creates a bigger budget for most teams in the Eredivisie to compete on a higher level, why is it screwing?
Yeah, but that is exactly what you're saying. Most teams in the Eredivisie, all other teams, they're gone. They're not going to have a chance to play Champions League again because
the money will trickle down. It always does. The money trickles down. It always does.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you're going to do something else than the Eredivisie, and you're only having Ajax in mind, you can easily go for a Superliga above a BeNeLiga. But I'm not for going outside of the Eredivisie at all. I'm just for keeping it the same.
Yeah. So somebody's agreeing with Ajax. Now I think more people are agreeing with Ajax. Look, for me, the argument of Ajax in which he says, you know, we have to choose, right? Are we going to be how do you call it? We're going to think about the other Dutch teams as well, or are we going only to think about Ajax? Because honestly, guys, Ajax is doing pretty well, even though they're in the Eredivisie, and they can do even better, of course, if they go and do a BeNeLiga or go to the Super League, like you said. So for Ajax, it's only beneficial. But if you look at the Dutch football in general, other teams, and I agree with Papimento as well, I think maybe there will be more money involved for lower teams. But on the highest level, on the, let's say, the first division level, if you can call it like that, some Belgian teams, some Dutch teams will not be playing there anymore. They have to, yeah.
You can be advocate of the devil here also, devil's advocate here, Juan.
Yeah.
What is the coefficient for the Netherlands at the moment? What is the coefficient for Belgium at the moment? We're doing much better than Belgium. Ajax, okay, apart from this first half of the season under Schreuder, is quite dominant within our own league. First position of our league grants a direct placement for the Champions League. The way we are going last season, even the second place could be direct qualification for the Champions League. Why would you sacrifice that to go into a league with a country that has less coefficient, that you have to share that, when you're being a dominant force within your own league for the last 5 years?
And
that's all now, saying in the last couple of years. it is easier actually for Ajax if this trend would have continued this first half of the season to just stay in your own league.
Yeah, not only that, Ajax, I agree with you, and I also want to add to that if we would go and do a BeNeLiga, we have to basically hit the reset button in terms of coefficient. So we start all over again, basically, you know? So yeah, it's on the short term, it's definitely going to hurt Ajax, I think. On the long term, it might be beneficial, but you never know. Right now, Ajax is doing pretty well financially and all these kind of things.
And
you know what it is, Juan? Look, and also they're talking about money. If money is the most important thing, yeah, there are still untapped potential when it comes to eredivisie and the media. You know, there are international fans that are saying they cannot watch certain games from Ajax. So in that case, if you want to maximize your benefits, there is still a lot of untapped potential within the Dutch market and how it is now to even grow more in income and income stream. But that's not happening properly at the moment.
Let me ask a different question. We're talking about finance the whole time, but in terms of the quality, does it mean if you play against better teams, let's say if we have a bigger market, bigger teams from Belgium combined with Dutch teams, that also the players that will play Anderlecht, Club Brugge, Genk, like Sahbi said, do you guys think also the level will go up? We will have players operating at a higher level. What do you think, Sahbi?
That's the objective. That was not only the fine. That was the primary objective, to increase the level of the lower leagues, the Mickey Mouse leagues, by playing top teams against each other.
Yeah.
So will the level increase if you have the top 9 or top 7 from the Netherlands and the top 7 of Belgium? Yes.
Yeah, but one could argue because yes, maybe as a whole we would.
I'm talking about as a whole.
It would increase a bit, but aside from Club Brugge, that is doing quite well this season, I do not think the top 4 at the moment in the Eredivisie last seasons are worse than the top teams in Belgium. I think
you'll be surprised.
That is amongst our top 4, and then it's just way lower. So
you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
If you drop the numbers 10 till 18 in the Eredivisie, and you are joined by the numbers 1 to 9 from Belgium, yes, as a whole it will get stronger. But I'm looking more forward to a match against Twente or a match against Utrecht that has
That's
more
top 9, right?
Then I'm looking to Gent or Genk. You know, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, but Ajax.
Yeah, but Genk or Gent is still better than.
Volendam and all those.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Top 9. The top 9 of Belgium is stronger than the last 9 of the Eredivisie. We can be clear about that. So that's why I'm answering.
Is it more beneficial for them? Because quite obvious, our top 9 is stronger than their top 9. So when we join their competition and a joint competition, the level for the competition will be much higher than theirs. But it's not that much different.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter for whom it would be more beneficial. It is beneficial. I mean, if you can play an additional game against Brugge instead of Volendam, that's already an addition, right? So,
all right.
It's a hard discussion. A lot of points to consider.
It is difficult. It is difficult, you know. So, guys, I want to finish off this video with another question. We're going to go back a little bit to only Ajax, basically. And we spoke about the transfer window and, you know, we're looking for a center back, etc., and these kind of things. And we know we haven't been very successful up to this point in replacing the key players we had last season, you know. A lot of players that we were like arguing about Wijndal. Basically, all the questions, and I believe even Sahbi yesterday in the Game Talk said that, I won't repeat that word, but you weren't too happy with the players that came in, you know. You said, like, basically, Conceição is the only one making an impression for me right now. And he's one of the cheapest ones that came in. Moving forward, if we look at the board, because we're talking always about what's happening on the field, and we're always talking about Schreuder, but to what extent do we have to remain patient, or does Ajax has to wait to appoint, you know, people that will take lead and envision where Ajax should go, which players we need to go further, you know, in terms of the players, the scouting, all these kind of things, because right now we're in limbo, basically.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem organized or well
you
processed
basically
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, leadership starts from the top, and if nothing changes in the supervisory board, if nothing changes within management, how can you change something on the pitch, within the squad? I mean, the asset, the value is on the pitch, but eventually the decisions are being made by 1, 2 levels above, and if there's no if there's no individual who is taking the lead, as I
Yeah.
said it last time, we have an interim board member who is responsible for the football part. We have an interim technical management who is responsible for the transfers.
Yeah, but just a minute. Just let me cut you a little bit there. Look, the interim one on the supervisory board, Adrie Koster, we cannot really be critical about that because it was the intention all this time that Danny Blind will come back, and then all of a sudden in November he said, "No, I'm not coming back." So this is a little bit unfortunate, but the plan was that he will return. But in terms of technical director, it's been a year now. Overmars left, and we still don't have anyone. And usually, wait a minute. And usually, just let me finish the sentence.
No, go ahead.
Usually, I understand the technical person in the board, part of the board, is the one that should take a decision who's appointed as a technical director. So first they were waiting for Danny Blind to return because we have an interim. He's not going to make that decision. Then Danny Blind says, "I'm not coming back." And now we're stuck basically with, we have to go all the way up first to appoint somebody in the supervisory board so the board can appoint a technical director.
Yeah.
That's basically the situation right now.
Yeah, it's a chicken and egg story.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And everybody will be finger pointing. There's no technical director because we don't have any member within the supervisory board who can take that decision. Okay, and the coach can't be sacked because we don't have any management within. We don't have any technical director. So every time there's only finger pointing, and it's limbo, as you said.
Yeah,
and I expected more from Van der Sar in this.
Yeah, that's what
to be
I wanted.
honest.
I wanted to ask you guys. Yeah, I want to ask you guys about. Does this mean that we should not be critical about Van der Sar because it's not his?
He
he's
should be extremely critical.
Right.
Van der Sar.
More than extremely.
I
Because
agree. He's on vacation. I break.
No, he came back, bro. He's not on vacation anymore.
Yeah.
But seriously, guys, because if the board fails to appoint a technical director, and then everything comes on the desk of Van der Sar, basically, because he's the one that takes final decisions, should we be critical about him because that's not really his primary job? I'm asking a question here.
Look, he's an ex-legend. He has the Ajax DNA. He knows what kind of players Ajax wants. If the board is saying a technical manager is not necessarily needed now, then I expect Van der Sar to be saying, this I cannot do alone. I need help. This is very important to have for the structure of the club. Because Van der Sar, it's not that he just started his job last year. No, he has been in this this sport.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
for ages.
I agree, but as a CEO, not as a technical director.
But he was also a player. He has also the capabilities and the networking and the things to force something within the club, no?
Bro, have you
That's
seen
not even happening.
Have you seen him trying to do a speech? It's not his cup of tea, bro.
I understand, bro, but look, with Anthony's transfer, wasn't he the deciding factor in letting him go?
Yeah, but wasn't that because
why can I judge him on different things if he's allowed to make those kind of decisions?
Manchester United, because of his contacts there. But with other clubs,
yeah, it's
guys, we're moving away from basically my question. Again, do you guys believe we can be critical towards Van der Sar in the absence of a technical director? Why Ajax? Why?
It's plain simple. If there is within your fan base, people want to talk with you. You have to have a responsibility where things are going, within the club. Then you should not go on a vacation. You should at least make time to talk with your fan base and to settle some things, because there are people that are not happy. Ajax is a club, but it's still the fans that matter. Not only this, if you do not have certain qualities within your club and it is not your cup of tea, you should make sure that there is expertise within your club that can do those kind of things in those kind of areas.
Yeah.
So there isn't any excuse anymore. We do not have a certain technical director in the club. I'm the CEO. That's a different thing. You're partly responsible for also making sure that there are the right people in the right places. If you are not comfortable with taking over certain areas of Overmars, what he did, then you should make sure that you have help within your club that can help you out in that area. So him not being able to do it isn't the point. Then he should make the choice of getting somebody in who can help him do that. So either way, he's making a bad decision in that area.
Yeah.
That's
basically comes down to, wait 1 minute. It comes down to taking responsibility and acknowledging and running the business, running the club basically the best possible, even if you're not an expert in that particular area. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
When you in life, at least I'm like this. When you get a question and it's not your expertise, then you go towards somebody.
That doesn't happen a lot, right?
You're not going to try and be an expert and try to answer the question,
Yeah.
It's how it works. It's plain simple. It's just being logical.
Yeah. An example.
Let's be honest, Juan. Go.
No, just an example on the players who demanded a meeting to discuss the situation, whereby Van der Sar said, "No, I don't think it's needed for the moment." Twice, They asked twice for a meeting.
I meant the players. I'm saying the fans, but I meant the players. What you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And next to that, you go on holiday while the whole club is on fire. There are only issues at the moment, and you go on holiday for I don't know for how long, but you go to Mexico, and at the same time, issues are ongoing. That you're no leader if you do that.
Yeah. Look, Papimento, before you react, just quickly on this. For me, the main disappointment for me, apart from what's going on behind the curtains, on board level and these kind of things, is that nobody stepped up in those off, the month that we had, nothing is happening. Nobody stepped up, and I expected Van der Sar to come to Ajax TV or whatever, even Ziggo or all these kind of programs. At least come there, and talk to us and say what the plan is, what you guys are doing, what your strategy is for the season. There are so many holes right now, and fans are worried, And not only didn't he do that, but as Ajax alluded to, and also Sahbi alluded to, after the Emma game, the players even wanted to sit down and talk to him, and he basically ignored that. So that's strange, right?
Very strange.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, also Juan, Overmars covered for Van der Sar many times when he was part of the board of directors, a part of the club. Van der Sar should also sometimes be a public figure that gives interviews and talk to the media and stuff. But usually it was Overmars at certain points of the season that gave an interview to discuss certain topics.
Yeah.
So that already says a little bit how the balance within the club was.
He only gave a pathetic message that we need to support Schreuder, etc., during the winter break, and that was really BS.
Yeah. Yeah, man, guys. Look, honestly, I'm more worried about that area at the moment because basically we're in a ship and we don't know which direction we're going. But it's literally like
well
that.
Said. You're perfectly said.
And we're so much focused on what's happening on the pitch, but looking at the more it stays like this, the worse it will get in player recruitment. Selling players, getting players in, and we will go back to the not so good days we had previously with Ajax. And I hope
you look at it that way, Juan, what you're saying, for the people that are covering their own asses up in the hierarchy, it's really the perfect diversion how it's going on the pitch at the moment, because this is the main thing we're seeing. And the focus is mainly on the coach and on the team performing. But we cannot see what a shit house it is up top at the moment, because the main focus is on how bad the results are. You get my drift? So maybe even with another coach and there's somebody that needs to be appointed, there's still havoc within the club. It isn't gone yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a misdirect. Yeah.
And the thing that I also want to finally and also part of this, is that a lot of people are saying, okay, listen, Schroeder has to deliver against Twente, has to deliver against Feyenoord. If not, it's over. But again, who's going to take that decision? Is Van der Sar going to take that decision? Because not so long ago, after the Emma game, they had an evaluation together, and they basically gave him the vote of confidence. So what would you say if 2 months later, basically, they say, oh no, now we're going to fire Schroeder? What kind of...
It's over for him.
What kind of
external factors can pressure get a lot of pressure?
I understand that.
Yeah, but if he vouches for him, he vouches for him, it would mean that if Schroeder gets sacked, his position has to go too. He vouches. It's like within the mafia.
He tied his fate by vouching for Schroeder. I see it the same way.
So you guys think like if Schroeder has to go, Van der Sar also has to be looked at least.
At least. 100%.
All right. Guys, I think that's it. We end on a high, a little bit upset, but maybe we'll be happy on Saturday. Let's hope so. I want to thank you guys. I also want to thank the community for joining. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. We just reached 3,000 subs. We're very happy. Thank you all for this. Give us a like as well. And I think I will have Papimento on Saturday talking about Twente. So, fingers crossed, guys.
Good luck, Papi. Good luck.